I want to address the people on the left here for a second, because I watch the news and people on the right are saying this dossier is proof positive that everyone in the government is corrupt and we should go after them and stop all this Russia nonsense. Then I watch the news on the left, and the left is saying, you see, there's absolutely nothing here. I don't even know why people are even looking into this. I don't think the press is actually representing the common American, both Democrat and Republican. I think the average American wants this nonsense to end, yes, but they really want to know, is our government corrupt? Now, if you happen to be on the left and you think this is nonsense, I just want to ask you a couple of questions. And be honest with yourself. How would you react if a possibly corrupted FBI director with biased agents were manipulating investigation with partisan moles in the Justice Department and an overall threat of hostile foreign intelligence services? How would you react if the president were Obama? The one who was running for president was Obama, and George W. Bush, along with John McCain, were doing all of this. Imagine for a second that a dossier describing domestic terrorist ties to Barack Obama were leaked to the press. At first, most of the media outlets wouldn't want to touch it. But a lesser-known internet site pulls the trigger and opens the floodgates. Let's say it's the Drudge Report. And the Drudge Report, all of a sudden, shows domestic terrorist ties. Leaks and damaging information begin to drop almost daily. Then CNN publishes a photo with Obama and Louis Farrakhan. And the New York Times reveals that Obama had ties to domestic terrorist Bill Ayers. And Fox News plays sermons from Jeremiah Wright, seemingly on repeat for a week straight. And everything appears to back up and corroborate the dossier. Now, that could have been done. A rumor begins to circulate that the FBI is now surveilling the Obama campaign. How the hell did they get an authorization to do that? NBC reports. The FBI director's wife received a campaign donation from John McCain. Rachel Maddow claims that the FBI is partisan and compromised. Later, we find out that two of the agents investigating Obama's ties to Bill Ayers and Farrakhan hate Obama and are on record saying we cannot let this man become president. They really want a McCain presidency. The pieces are starting to fall into place, but then the ultimate scandal drops. We find out that the dossier was actually opposition research paid for and directed by the Republican Party and the McCain campaign. Not only that, but they took that dossier to the Bush administration, and the Bush appointees in the Justice Department are getting hand-fed opposition research from family members that work at the firm that's compiling the dossier. And those compromised members of the DOJ and the FBI used that information to obtain a FISA warrant to spy on members of the Obama campaign. If you're on the left, how would you feel about that? Would you be okay with that? Because I don't think you would be. All of this is currently happening. But just imagine for a fraction, just a fraction of a second, what would have happened to Obama in 2008. The Democrats would have been forced out into the streets. It would have been mass chaos. And all of this could have happened because there's enough evidence to look into Obama as there was to look into Trump. But the media considered one of these guys beyond reproach. The media considered one of these guys as friendly. He's going to be fine. And so they took pictures of Obama with Farrakhan and they hid it, literally hid it. And the media wonders why. The Americans just don't trust the press anymore. There is clear evidence now that Hillary Clinton colluded with Russia. This is according to Nunez. Can we listen to this audio, please?
Look, I think there's clear evidence of collusion that the Democratic Party and the Hillary Clinton campaign colluded with the Russians. Okay, you don't get to hire lawyers and pretend like that didn't happen. It goes to what they accuse you of is what they actually were doing.
So this is really this is an interesting new piece of information that there is a second dossier. And this dossier was being compiled by somebody whose brother was an ambassador. What he did is his late sister was married to Strobe Talbot, the chief authority on Russia in Bill Clinton's State Department. And Shearer heard some stuff and got a dossier from Russia, passed it on to the State Department, to Hillary Clinton, who Clinton's people passed it on to the State Department. State Department passed it on to the DOJ. We have all of these connections to the DNC and to Hillary Clinton all passing information for an investigation that they clearly wanted to happen. Yesterday, you had the Oars passing information directly from Fusion GPS right to the DOJ through a back channel live as it was coming in. This is not right. I'm going to play What If for a second. Now, here is the plot line, okay? Listen to the plot line. A possibly corrupted FBI director, biased agents manipulating investigations, partisan moles in the Justice Department, the overall threat of a hostile foreign intelligence service that is feeding things. This would be a good movie, right? But this is what's happening right now. Now, let me play What If. Right now, half the country doesn't see a problem with this. Let me play What If here. Imagine if this was 2007 and everything that I have just described was happening in 2007. And now Barack Obama is in the office, and it is found out that the FBI director might have been corrupt. There were biased agents who were doing everything they could to stop him. They were in bed with a foreign government. They were going to a FISA court and not telling them that it was all funded by the John McCain campaign. Imagine that. Imagine what would be said about Bush. Imagine what would be said about John McCain. There's not a single liberal on the planet that would be okay with that. None of them. If indeed what happened was all of a sudden, there's a photograph with Obama and Louis Farrakhan. We know that exists because it was just released. But the left hid it. The left press hid it. They just released it a couple of weeks ago. And they did it because they knew what would happen. So imagine if that photo would have been leaked, just the photo, leaked by Russia to John McCain, who then had a surrogate go to a newspaper, go to Drudge Report, and publish that. Can you imagine what they would have said? If the Drudge Report, which they did, would have released from a secret dossier that Obama had ties to domestic terrorist Bill Ayers. If there was a coordinated action from the McCain campaign funneling all this information about Bill Ayers and about Jeremiah Wright and all of these things, all of the tapes, all of the pictures, feeding that to the FBI then started to wiretap Obama to find out about all of his connections. And all of this was just dumped out into the press. What do you think, if you were on the left, what do you think you'd be saying right now? And if you'd be saying it then, why aren't you saying it now? Because here's the one thing I learned. If you don't correct the problem, I said to you while I was on Fox, if you're a liberal, I said all the time, you've got to stop this or the next guy is, what do you think the next guy is going to do? If this isn't caught, what do you think happens in the future? This isn't going to be good. We need to stop it. And those of you on the right, we have to stop this. We have to investigate and find out everything that's going on, mainly with Russia and the FBI and the DOJ and the FISA court. We have to know that. If that entangles Donald Trump or entangles Hillary Clinton, the chips fall where they may. But we must do it, because if we don't clean it up, what do you think the next Democrat administration will do? Worse. It has to be fixed. Pat Gray, welcome to the program.
Kind of have to have the mainstream media cooperating with that, though, and they're not going to.
No.
They're just not. They don't care. All they care about is trying to find some link between Trump and Russians. That's the only thing that concerns them.
I can't watch news anymore.
I know.
I can't watch left news. I can't watch the right news because they're both telling me bogus stories. They're telling me fantasies, both sides. This isn't about Donald Trump, and it's not about Hillary Clinton. It is about the FBI, DOJ, and Russia, and the FISA court. My gosh, if this is the way the FISA court works, we should all be terrified.
And how about this is the way the FBI works?
Yes.
We should all be terrified.
In a way, that's kind of the nicer explanation here. Like, hey, they weren't just targeting Donald Trump. They're just bad all the time.
Yeah.
And that's actually in a lot of ways scarier, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, because you look at the FISA thing and how they left out this detail and they omitted this that, they should have put in there. Maybe that's what they're doing all the time, right? Like, I mean, libertarians have been complaining about that forever.
Oh, I think they probably are.
Right. They all get all these approved. They all get approved. All the FISA applications get approved. Like, it's like 99.7% of them. And the reason is because they'll put anything in there to get it. And they're not really looking at trying to stop them.
It's shocking to me that the libertarian movement is not just growing out of control right now. Shocking to me. Somebody in the Libertarian Party just doesn't get it. I don't know what it is, but they don't get it.